Hello and welcome to a brief overview of the 180 odd cars we've got going under the hammer here at Pavilion Gardens, Buxton, tomorrow, Wednesday the 29th of July. This is the catalogue cover car, the 1989 Rolls-Royce Corniche 2. It's one of only 59 built in right-hand drive, and if you adjust for inflation, its price when new would have been an eye-watering £380,000 or so. Believe it or not, that was cheaper than when these cars were first launched. When the Corniche convertible was first launched, it cost 3 times the amount of the average UK house. So if you scale that up in today's house prices, it would have been about £750,000. This car has been driven to the auction, beautiful in this light blue metallic, really, really gorgeous original interior. You can see how well that's lasted. And frankly, they're not allowed to treat leather with the same chemicals anymore, so you can't replicate that kind of finish because you're not allowed to use the same chemicals to treat it. So just a lovely, lovely original interior, very, very elegant car. And yeah, I mean, you can understand why they were so expensive. They cost, I think they were about 1,400 hours to build each one. You look at main dealer labour rates today at £140, £150 an hour, and you can see where the costs mounted up even before you allow for materials. So as I say, one of 59 right-hand drive cars, gorgeous looking thing, great on a sunny day, even greater touring Europe, and this one's recently had the aircon done, so that'd be gorgeous. For those who like their thrills a little bit more basic, there's an MGA twin cam next to it. That's one of 1,801 roadsters made. It's an original UK car. We're particularly flattered with this one because the vendor actually bought it from one of our previous auctions and then carried out this lovely painstaking restoration to it. So it is a very, very nice car indeed. And of course, these weren't just advanced because of the twin cam engine. They had 4-wheel Dunlop disc brakes and this gorgeous, gorgeous styling. So the engines were deemed a little fragile in period. Modern technology means they are, when they're overhauled, they're made much stronger. But yeah, very, very pretty, elegant, sporty car. And behind it, another rarity, one of the 55 David Brown Lagonda Rapides built, of which they estimate 47, 48 are remaining. Yeah, it's a little unfair to call this a stretched Aston Martin DB4, but it's, you know, it is the Harold Beach platform underneath there. You've got the Tadek Merrick straight 6 double overcam engine. They are very nicely trimmed. They're a proper 4-seater. This car was actually restored by Aston Martin Works, I believe, in the 1990s. And yeah, hats off to them. It's held up very nicely. But very, very elegant, and although much, much rarer than a DB4, available for a tiny fraction of a DB4's price these days. So a gorgeous thing. Next to the Lagonda is a Rolls-Royce Silver Wraith 2. Now, this particular example is very unusual in that it's been owned by a father and daughter from new, and during that time it's covered just 15,500 miles. So, pardon me, these were never everyday shopping cars, but this one with 15,500 miles, again, Martin, sorry to make you do this, but you need to have a look at the interior because that is just as close as factory fresh as you're really going to get. You know, beautiful, beautiful wood veneers, that sumptuous, thick Connolly leather upholstery, just very, very, very elegant sort of gentleman's club interior. And you can see why they were felt to be the epitome of luxury in the day. Arguably the highlight of the Fox collection is this 1969 Jensen FF. Now these were such a groundbreaking car for a comparatively small British company to make. FF standing for Ferguson Formula. They were 4-wheel drive. Not only were they 4-wheel drive, they had an early form of anti-lock brake. So they were a very, very advanced machine for the late 1960s. Again, this particular example has had tens of thousands of pounds lavished on it, as you can tell from the cosmetic condition. Very, very smart in silver with this cream leather upholstery. A rare, rare beast. You struggle to buy one of these as a project for less than 25. You can't restore it to this condition for anything like the guide price. And again, just a proper piece of British motoring history. Unfortunately for the Jensen's legacy, not as successful when it came to 4-wheel drive as the Audi Quattro that sat next to it. Now this particular example is one of the RR derivatives. So it's one of the late 20 valve cars. The vendor of this car actually used to work for a Volkswagen Audi Group VAG dealership. Started there as an apprentice. That was his first encounter with a Quattro in the late 80s. Always coveted them and was actually able to buy this example after an exhaustive search. And it is a cracker. They only did, I believe, 295 of these RR late 20-valve Quattros in right-hand drive. And this is just a lovely, lovely example. It has been driven by a feckless farmer who was better known in his previous life as the motoring journalist Jeremy Clarkson. So it was a press car at one stage. The vendor has absolutely babied this. It's got a fabulous service history. I think it's stamped all the way up to this year. So if you want a 20-valve Quattro, the car that really, these UR Quattros, the car that really put four-wheel drive on the map and established it as the way to go for rallying, this is about as good as it gets. Here we have a 1989 Toyota MR2. Now these were among the best small Japanese sports cars of the 1980s. You've got a 1.6 litre mid-engine, four-cylinder engine there. They are great fun to drive. They're lightweight, they're compact, they're very, very responsive. They're cutesy with that kind of baby Ferrari styling. And they were not 10 a penny, but they are just getting scarcer and scarcer. And they've justifiably got a decent following now, those Toyotas. Moving on a decade or so, you're straight into the 1990s and the proper arms race between Toyota, Nissan and Honda. And this was Toyota's version. This was the A80, the Supra, the Mark IV. This is in the twin turbo guise, rare in right-hand drive. These were powered by a very, very tough engine. It was closed deck. It could take huge horsepower. So although they were advertised as limited to the Japanese manufacturer's gentleman's agreement of 276 brake horsepower, they were comfortably over 300 as standard, and people have tuned those to over 1,000. This is a clean example. It's one of 17 cars entrusted to us from the Fox collection. Again, increasingly collectible, and in terms of 90s classics, about as hot as they get. Offered at a fraction of the cost of the Supra, believe it or not, is this 1997 Maserati Ghibli GT. These were very, very rare, hand-built Italian thoroughbreds. This has still got its Meridian Modena tax disc holder. Meridian brought in about 150 of these cars to the UK in right-hand drive. Majority were fitted like this car with automatic transmission. You've got a 2.8 litre twin-turbo V6 in this, and they went like stink. You've got that really period ruffled leather upholstery. You've got the famous little Maserati clock. When these are right, they're great fun. They are expensive things to maintain properly, but this car example, it's got Maserati Club stickers in there. It does look like it's been loved. And just if you like a bit of an understated, you like the Q car appeal of a Maserati compared to a Ferrari, well worth a look and just rare as hen's teeth. This is arguably the highlight of the Peter Macy collection. So 17 cars that have come from his deceased estate, sadly, had a real penchant for American cars. And this is an extreme rarity. This is the Essex Challenger Super 6 Speedabout. Have a look at the tail. You know, that is a proper boat tail, like off a little speedboat. The interior is in this sort of metallic finish, which is very, very American. The Americans actually started pioneering metallic paints. Ebert Lobb and Cord was a great enthusiast of changing up the colours for different vehicles from the late 20s onwards. This, again, late 20s design, very elegant, very sporty. And yes, there are lots of Essexes here today, but this is the crown jewel. Really, really lovely thing and well deserving of being restored and put back on the road. Before the Integrale, Lancia did the Delta HF Turbo. It looks the same as an Integrale, certainly the same as an 8-valve model, but this has front-wheel drive only. You've still got the Aurelio Lampredi 2-litre double overhead cam turbocharged engine. There's still that wonderful, I think it's Giugiaro, boxy styling. Great things to look at. This has worn this body kit from new. So in terms of like an 80s hot hatch, it's just great. Rare again, unusual to see it. Nice survivor condition, I believe. And yeah, looks pretty decent under the engine bay. And as you say, you can see that famous twin cam there that went on to power so many Integrales to so many rally victories. Sticking with the 80s, we've got what is for some people their favourite car here, the Mark II Granada. Now these were obviously ubiquitous at one point, but finding survivors these days in this kind of condition is very, very rare. This example self-evidently been loved throughout its life, and yeah, it's just very, very period. Not that you need to know this, but I was driven to school by my friend's mum in one of these many years ago, and yeah, they're just very, very, very evocative. So this, yeah, a car that nobody would have given a second glance to when it was about 5 years old. Now we've had inundated with huge amounts of attention now that it's getting on for 40 years old, or just over 40. These first generation Mazda RX-7s have had quite a following for a while now. This particular example used to be part of the Mazda Heritage fleet, and they still offer a genuinely different driving experience. That Wankel rotary engine is so smooth and revs so freely that they are something really quite special to drive. This car, as you can see, it's in good condition. It's not concours, but it's good condition. Nice, well-preserved period interior, and just, as I say, something deliciously different to drive down the road. So yeah, again, another 80s favourite here at the sale. Again, one of the rarest and arguably prettiest cars in the sale is this 1959 Fiat 1200 TV transformable. So these were designed in conjunction, in-house by Fiat, but in conjunction with Pininfarina. You can see lots of almost Lancia Aurelia B24 styling cues there, some Ferrari Barchetta styling cues, bits of Americana coming through from the 50s. So very, very much of its time, but very, very elegant, and some funky design touches. So not only have you got a wraparound windscreen that you probably expect to find on a contemporary Chevrolet Corvette, but you've got these great swivel seats so that people can get in and out that much more easily, and you can have a more decorous entry and exit if you're in a short skirt. So this one has come from America, does obviously need restoration, but it'll be a gorgeous, pretty thing when finished. As you can see, this auction's been heavily oversubscribed, so we've had to use this events field here at Buxton, and we filled it with Rolls-Royce, Bentleys, Mercedes, even a Ford Scorpio over there. So it's a great display area. This particular car is the 300 SEL 6.3, which I just love these because the whole hot rod mentality. So Mercedes decided that they would get their upper range executive, give it a bit more pep, so they took the 6.3 litre V8 from the Grosser, the W100 cars, and shoehorned it into these, and it created essentially a factory hot rod. This car is still disarmingly grunty to drive, so we're just pulling it around on the roads to get into this events field. You can feel the torque. So these were just an Autobahn sleeper. They were among the fastest four-door, four-seater cars that money could buy. Real sports car performance in the luxury executive offering. So, and rare as hen's teeth. This car, we understand, spent some time in America, hence the faded paintwork and whatnot, but you know, there's plenty of potential there to bring it back to a very, very, very cool 60s classic. We're on public view until 6 o'clock this evening, and again on public view from 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's Wednesday the 29th. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to contact us, either by ringing 01925 210 035 or emailing info@h&h.co.uk. We'd love to see you here at Pavilion Gardens. The auction itself will start at 12 o'clock promptly, and it will take approximately 6 hours to get through the 180 odd lots. I hope you agree it's a fantastic cross-section of vehicles, and if you can make it, we'd love to see you here.